Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we are jumping back down into the charts for XRP to see what's been going on most recently and what I think is likely to happen next. As I get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free to join, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. Also in the description down below, you'll find links to our Patreon services if you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, or why not check that out and see what we have to offer there. Right, let's jump right down into this. Right, XRP paired up with USDT, hourly chart, and Binance is the data source. Now, some things have actually changed since the video that I did yesterday, not massively, but some small tweaks and adjustments that we need to make so that we can be a little bit more accurate with where we think we're finally going to go. Okay, so I'll try to keep this brief as much as I can. So yesterday we were talking about the impulsive structure going up, all that is fine, but we actually had a double bottom get created here, right? So we were talking about this pullback down here with a C wave. That's actually come right down here with a double bottom. That was a bit of a bull flag, and we then basically started this journey back to the upside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove I'm going to remove this for a second, because what we're actually looking for here is a slightly lower fourth wave, which basically will adjust our final fifth wave up higher, right? So what we want to do is I'm just going to turn my magnet on here, and I'm going to just delete that fib, and I'm going to draw another one, okay? And we're going to take it from the high, and we're going to take it to the low, okay? And then we're going to turn the magnet off, okay? So cool. So now we actually get an idea as to where this is likely to go. So we can adjust our targets ever so slightly, just refine them, so we know where we are heading in this final fifth wave, okay? So I'm just going to adjust these a little bit. Here we have 80.57. Okay, so that's the new target there. So we'll go up to 5.7. Now, the higher target, the higher range of this box, this comes in at 81.93, okay? So that's pretty much exactly right on the nose there. Okay, cool. So that's going to be our fifth wave. And now what we're tracking here is to see whether or not we've got the right structure. Now, we've got a lot of overlap going on here. So this could be an ABC that actually takes us up this high. We're not following an impulsive structure inside. The sub-wave counts are a little bit off. But nonetheless, we are still tracking this as an impulsive structure, with invalidation being all the way down here. And that being the high point of this particular wick at 74.13 cent. Okay, so I'll just mark that up with a horizontal way just up here, and I'll just do that so we can see exactly that this is our invalidation point. Okay, and I will just drop this on here as well, so you get an idea. That's exactly where we want to be, well, what we want to avoid dropping down lower. Okay, so now we'll take a look at this move coming up. We will use another fib. This time again, we'll just throw the magnets on here to make this a little bit easier and save me kind of zooming in and out and whatnot. And we'll just move that over to the recent low just here. And this actually will then take us up into this yellow box area on an ABC. So we have A up, B wave down, and we'll look to come up here. The 1-to-1 ratio, we'll put this at about 80.76. And then from there, basically, that's your fifth wave complete. And we'll look for some kind of ABC structure coming down. Now, it's possible that we obviously overextend this. We go up higher. And so forth. The C wave, typically is a 1-to-1 ratio with the A wave, but doesn't mean it has to be exactly there. It can go higher, it can go lower, and all of that kind of stuff. And again, we might actually find that we have 5 waves inside this last little leg here, and essentially we have basically a 3-3-5 structure just inside that fifth wave. Anything is possible in crypto, but it is looking like we are moving up towards the fifth wave target. Now, what I do is I'll bring back the stochastic RSI here so we can understand the momentum. We are oversold, so this is going to support that move to the upside just here. Okay, so for XRP, we should be thinking, 80.57 minimum. And of course, the higher range here being 81.93. Now, it is possible that we actually overextend all of that. So let me just remove those. With this stochastic RSI, got to move all the way up to the overbought area. We'll just check before I jump into anything more. Is the 4 hourly is just coming out of the overbought area, so it can go back up. Not a problem there before we see a deeper correction, which will be our larger ABC move. The 8-hour also overbought, the daily actually looking for progression to the upside. So again, interesting kind of moves. We should be expecting some kind of short-term move up and then some kind of medium-term move down. And the weekly obviously needs to see a correction anyway. Okay, so let's come back into this this hourly view here for a second, because there's an alternative way of measuring this. So should we find that we have a bigger overextended 5 wave, where is that going to go, right? So for that, we'll just throw on the magnet here. We're going to take it from the high of our wave 3 down to the lows of our wave 1. Okay, so the entire move here, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to move this over to the low point that we had on our wave 4. And we're going to mark up the optional area right here, which would be the 0.618, and we'll just go ahead and grab that with a marker as well. Okay, so should we overextend what the typical move would be? Okay, so let me just put that back for a second. So that is actually a little bit 1 point higher than that. So let me just remove that. So basically the typical moves are the areas that we want to be watching out for are the 1.236 all the way to the 1.618. Effectively, that is 80.57 and 81.93. That's the typical area of a fifth wave. It is possible, however, that we overextend, and I've just marked that up here at 82.64. Okay, so that's a possibility that we overextend to that area. And basically that's the measurement of the 0.618 from wave 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now it is possible even that gets smashed all the way through, and then basically you end up with something that's not really measurable in what you've had before, but basically is an overextension on that fifth wave going significantly higher. I think it's unlikely considering where we are on the 4-hourly and the 8-hourly stochastic RSIs. So I will leave it at these particular areas. I do think we are going to land somewhere between 80.5 and 81.9. I don't think we're really going to go higher than that. So I will leave it there as a possibility for 82, but I don't think it's very probable. After all of that, we should see an ABC correction come back down, and it should be sizable. This is just an indication that it's going to be an ABC. These are not an accurate kind of representation of where I think it's going to go, but there should be some kind of ABC structure forming down here and taking the price of XRP much, much lower. Okay, so that's kind of what's going on here on the shorter time frame. And essentially, for those who do not know what Elliott wave theory is, it's basically mapping the psychology of people behind the movements here, right? So this is basically using waves and patterns of buying and selling, and essentially the Fibonacci relationships between all of that, all those price movements of the buying and the selling indicated within the waves and the Fibonacci retracement levels, the Fibonacci numbers. Essentially what you're doing here is you're plotting the psychology of the traders trading XRP, right? So this is not over analysis or anything like that. It is quite simply, you're just plotting people's behavior inside the charts, right? So it's not looking at things like head and shoulder pattern, cup and handle pattern, and nonsense like that. We're actually tracking people's behavior, right? And so really important that we understand what's going on here. There's a high probability, because we've come down here, that the next move is going to be up, and it is going to be landing up here because the psychology is that there's 5 waves going up here, and this is where people will likely sell overall, okay, between 80.5 and 81.9. So that's going to be the short time for you. Now let's go up into the bigger daily. This hasn't really changed much, but we are of course tracking our E wave. Our E wave coming down into our daily time frame. This will be a low point. Now it can. We're obviously in a bounce at the moment, probably going to come down towards that 50 to 60 cent range. As I said, we're overbought on the weekly chart. We're almost heading up to the overbought area on the daily chart. The probable outcome of that is that we move on down here. And again, we're following the right structure for this. We have an A. This is our bounce for a B. And then we pull down in a C. That will complete the E wave. Now, the E wave, as you guys know, if you're familiar with what we were talking about previously, essentially is a triangular wedge. Okay, so basically this is made up of 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, 3 waves, and then a final 3 waves down. Although the E wave is unpredictable, it can go longer, it can be overextending, it can be really short. But for the most part, I think we're probably going to be testing this lower range anyway. It looks pretty much like the sub-wave counts are indicating, 50 to 60 cent range for the E wave. After that, though, we get an absolutely massive surge upwards. So this might conclude, or I guess coincide with the conclusion of the Ripple and SEC lawsuit, essentially, right? So basically what we've got is a really good strong wave A, okay? We then consolidate down into a triangular wedge, an Elliott wave triangle, and then we'll get the explosive move going up into the C wave. Now, Elliott wave triangles can only appear in wave Bs and wave 4s, so this definitely makes this a wave B, and if this is a wave B, then that means that our 1-to-1 ratio with our A wave and our C wave right here, and by drawing the arrow here, essentially means that we are moving up to about $9.97, which would not be too bad considering for the years and years worth of damage that the SEC has caused many of its investors, or the retail investors that they're supposed to protect. Nonetheless, we're talking about 13x on the current price, actually probably a little bit less than that now. If I pull this up to the current price, I think we're hovering around 77. So if I were to put that about here, it's about 11.7x, 1170%. But I think by the time we actually pull this all the way down into an E-wave low, we are talking about 16x on XRP. Okay, so ultimately we're looking pretty good long term. Short term we're looking good, but in the medium we should be thinking about completing that E-wave down lower towards the 50 to 60 cent range. Last moment for accumulation, I do believe, will coincide with Bitcoin also pulling down into the lower ranges. And then basically XRP should get a very impulsive move on out of here pretty rapidly. So this would basically, in my opinion, would track as an ABC upwards, an ABC into our triangular wedge here, and then essentially 5 waves going out, making the whole thing a 335 overall, and then the end of the bull run coming in at around that $9.97 in my opinion. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.